20 years ago, Roblox looked nothing like it does today. While the majority of the player base wasn't alive at the time, those that were experienced the first era of Roblox, that which silently shaped the next 2 decades of the platform. Every genre of Roblox has evolved throughout the years. Today, I want to talk about the genre that I partake in the most, fighting games. Now with the groundwork laid out, follow me as we go back 20 years and see what took place before us. In 2006, the very first genre of fighting game on Roblox was created by a developer known at the time as Telamon. Said game was called brick battling. The premise was simple. You spawn in and have a starter pack of 6 weapons: a sword, a slingshot, a super ball, a chow, a rocket launcher, and a timer bomb. More modern adaptations of the brick battle formula have added a 7th weapon known as a paintball gun. With these tools at your disposal, you had one goal: get as many kills as possible. By today's standards, this game would have been seen as nothing more than a baseplate with boring tools. However, at the time, this was revolutionary. Players quickly would discover new techniques by combining tools and movement. There was bomb jumping, bomb shooting, and the bouncing bomb shot, just to name a few. Brick battle was all about using your tools in strategic ways to beat your enemies. The genre had peaked in popularity between 2006, its release, to around 2013, yet it saw a massive decline in players as of early 2014. The genre had been revived for a short period in 2018, with the game Doomspire Brick Battle. Today, the classic brick battle experience has been lost to time, overshadowed by the more popular Doomspire Brick Battle twist on the genre. The only game alive you can find is Doomspire Brick Battle with 240 players on it as of recording this. It's sad to see the pioneer of the genre dead, but let's move on to something that was arguably even bigger than brick battle. In the later half of 2007, Telamon released his second project to the Roblox fighting game community. He called it Sword Fights on the Heights, more commonly known as SFOTH. Funny enough, 4 versions of this game were released between 2007 and 2008, the 4th being the final one that the original developer Telamon would release. The idea for this game, like the last, was very simple. You spawn in with the sword and you get as many kills as possible. This game was like Brick Battle, as it changed the Roblox fighting game scene completely. In Brick Battle, you had to use your tools in unique combinations to try and outsmart your opponent. However, in SFOTH, it was all about movement and precision. Any misstep or overextension could spell the end of your fight. SFOTH 4, shortly after release, became the most popular game on Roblox, and it would stay that way for roughly 6 years. After those 6 years passed, the player count started to decline pretty hard. Exploiters began to run rampant and the game was never really the same. Until 2020, that is. Telamon, now known as Shellitsgate, returned. He had fixed a bunch of issues and code rot that the game had had. And for a short time in 2020, the game had actually gained a bit of popularity again. But shortly after its, at the time, final boom, it kept a small but consistent player base. If you wanted to play an SFOTH-like game today, funny enough, you could actually play the original game. Though, I personally recommend SFOTH 4 Reforged. Because as of recording this on August 15th, the original SFOTH is borderline unplayable with its constant microtransactions and constant exploiters. SFOTH and Brick Battle would leave a massive impact on the hardcore Roblox community. Even today, maps like Crossroad, SFOTH, and Rocket Arena are reimagined in countless games on the platform today. Black Magic was and still is one of the most advanced and technical fighting games on the platform. The issue is, it's dead as hell. A YouTuber by the name of BVR made a great video on the rise and fall of the game, so if you're interested, I would definitely check it out. 2016 was a big year for Roblox. A lot of OG Roblox favorites came out this year, but the one I'm going to be talking about today is possibly Roblox's biggest anime game to exist, Dragon Ball Final Stand. Dragon Ball Final Stand, as its title suggests, is a Dragon Ball game. This game allows you to create your own character and level them up to fight strong enemies. To my knowledge, this would be the first game to do full stun combat. Full stun combat works like this. If you were fighting someone else and you get hit, for half a second your character is stunned, and when you're stunned you can only evasive. Evasives are skills that allow you to get away from your opponent, typically at the cost of something. Final Stand pushed Roblox into a new age with its at the time innovative take on what combat on Roblox could look like. And around that same time that Final Stand released, we also got a game called Tales from the Valley. Tales of the Valley would precede two games we'll be talking about later on, but to keep it short, Tales was a PvP dominated game. It required footwork and precision like SOTH with strategy and technique like Brick Battle. While I barely played the game in its prime, there's a great video by Dancing Mad that goes in depth on the game and its history. From 2016 to 2019, there were a lot of games that have been lost to time, all having their own primes and stories, yet nothing could truly take over the Roblox combat scene like Rogue Lineage. In a word, Rogue is chaos. This game took what Tales from the Valley put down combat-wise and turned it up to an 11. The combat at its core was mini-stun. Mini-stun combat is full stun combat, however the duration one is stunned is cut in half. This style of combat is a lot more fast-paced and focuses heavily on denying your opponent's defense to hit for critical damage. Rogue would hold the hearts of many for years, but as time passed the magic died for most. This game is a lot more than just a fighting game and still has a decent active fan base. If you're curious and want to try it out, I will warn you, it is a very difficult game with little to no hand holding, so buy it at your own risk. In today's day and age, there are countless Roblox fighting games, though no formula has gained more traction and fame than the Battlegrounds formula. This is a style of full stun game that relies heavily on timing, prediction, and execution. There are hundreds if not thousands of Battleground games on the platform, but none more popular than TSB, the pioneer of the Battlegrounds formula, and JJS. Battleground games are notorious for their toxic and sometimes questionable communities. If you're looking for an easy to pick up and somewhat difficult to master game on Roblox, these are your best bet. Now, while Battleground games are the most popular today, a little bit before them, party-based games exploded onto the scene in December of 2021 with Deep Woken. Deep Woken is a game that has an insane amount of history and lore at this point in its lifespan, but to keep it brief, in this genre of game, players have 5 options whenever interacting with an enemy. They can attack, parry, dodge, feint, or block. The key to winning in these games is all about timing. Think of fighting in these games like an elegant dance where two fighters throw twists and turns at each other at every step. I didn't even scratch the surface of any of the games that I covered today. There have been insane stories to all of these games, some of which you can find pretty good videos that have like retrospectives and kind of just essays about, but you can never fully capture the essence of the history of something in such a short amount of time, especially in a video like this. So with that being said, if you're interested in anything that I talked about today, any of the games, even if they're dead, try looking around, maybe get involved in the community, and maybe try even picking one up and potentially getting good at it. I know things have been kind of stigmatized as like it's kind of lame to be good at like any game or just anything, but if you find something and it connects with you and you're passionate about it, I'd urge you to do it. Just have fun with it, because as sad as it is, a lot of the games that I talked about today are on their last legs, if not dead. Yet there's so many stories and just history that we will never know unless you were there. So with that being said, even if it's outside of just gaming, live your life. Feel those stories and just exist. Not everything has to be posted or shared, but keep it with yourself. Take that story, do that risky thing, because at the end of the day, that time is going to pass regardless. And once that time has passed, I think it's a lot more interesting if you can look back and tell those stories. But with that being said, I love you. Thank you for your time. And have a good day/night. Bye for now.